On Sri Lanka's southern coast, near a small fishing village, lies a place where history meets the sea. For over 7,000 years, people have lived here. For 2 millennia, ships came and went, carrying goods across the Indian Ocean. And hidden beneath these waters is the oldest known wooden shipwreck in the Asia-Pacific, over 2,200 years old. This is the story of Godawaya, a port, a monastery, and a shipwreck that connects Sri Lanka to the world. Godawaya, originally called Goda Pavata Patana in Sinhala-Prakrit or Gota Pabbata Pattana in Pali, literally means Harbour of the Rocky Hill, referring to the boulder-like mount that served as a natural landmark for early sailors. From the 2nd century BCE, it was a bustling entrepot on the Indian Ocean trade network. Its location was strategically perfect, sandwiched between an inland harbor on the Wallaway River and the open sea. Trade here supplied the great city of Tissamaharama and the kingdom of Ruhuna. Archaeological evidence shows that in later centuries, the port became a meeting point for ships from the Roman West and other parts of Asia. But the Godawaya shipwreck, itself dated to the 2nd century BCE, above all reveals the extensive regional trade routes of that early period. On the rock above the harbor stood the Goda Pavata Patana monastery, a key religious and administrative center. A stone inscription found here, written in Sinhala-Prakrit using the ancient Sinhala-Brahmi script, is dated to the 2nd century CE. It records that under King Gajabahu I, often identified with King Gajabahu I, customs duties from the port of Goda Pavata Patana were dedicated to the monastery. This is something extraordinary. It is the only known evidence in the entire Indian Ocean world where port taxes were directly transferred to a temple. This reveals that Godawaya was a busy port where trade was so significant that its taxes were directly allocated to support a great Buddhist institution. The Mahawamsa, Sri Lanka's great chronicle, also mentions Gota Pabbata. It records that King Naga, who ruled after Gajabahu I, built the vihara there as one of 7 great monasteries. This suggests that while Gajabahu first gave the monastery its financial foundation, it was his successor, Naga, who oversaw its major construction, reinforcing its importance in the island's religious and political life. For those who want to explore the wider history of the Brahmi script in South Asia, I've created another video titled Before Ashoka, tracing the earliest evidence of the Brahmi script. You can find it linked here and in the description. Excavations since 1994 by German and Sri Lankan archaeologists uncovered remarkable finds: Roman and Persian coins, Han Dynasty pottery from China, beads, bangles, and bricks with gild marks, 2 old stone ship anchors, and the remains of an ancient jetty built on stone pillars, a customs house with clay seals stamped with a lion emblem to show that duty had been paid. All of this reveals Godawaya as a major Silk Road hub, linking China, India, Arabia, and Europe through Sri Lanka. In 2003, local divers from Godawaya village stumbled upon pottery fragments scattered across the seabed. What they had found was no ordinary debris. It was the remains of an ancient vessel. By 2008, maritime archaeologists confirmed the discovery of a shipwreck over 2,200 years old. Advanced radiocarbon dating places the Godawaya shipwreck in the 2nd century BCE, over 2,200 years ago, making it the oldest wooden shipwreck in the Asia-Pacific region. Its cargo, from glass ingots to carnelian beads, provides rare evidence of Sri Lanka's role in the ancient Indo-Roman trade networks that linked South Asia with the Mediterranean. Its cargo tells the story of trade, grinding stones and hand stones carved from hard rock in Sri Lanka and India. Most show no signs of use, clearly meant as trade goods. Some even bear engravings, Nandi Pada, swastika, Srivatsya, and fish symbols. motifs linked to Hindu and Buddhist traditions. These marks suggest that even everyday commodities carried cultural meaning, not just practical use. Pottery formed one of the largest categories of cargo, ranging from massive storage jars to small bowls, fine red-slip tableware, spouted containers, and globular pots. Some were for everyday use, cooking, serving, and storing food, while others may have carried ritual or ceremonial offerings. The sheer variety and quantity of pottery from Godawaya show how everyday vessels were at the heart of early maritime exchange. Glass ingots, the first ever found in Sri Lanka, recovered in shimmering shades of green, turquoise, and blue. These ingots, once destined to be melted into beads, bangles, and ornaments, closely resemble those from the famous Uluburun shipwreck in Turkey. Chemical analysis points to a South Indian origin, placing Godawaya within a vast network of exchange stretching from South Asia to the Mediterranean. Copper ingots, plano-convex and bun-shaped, confirm the ship's role as a cargo vessel. Archaeologists estimate it originally carried nearly 5,000 kilograms of copper, somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 individual ingots of varying weights. These were unmistakably trade goods, raw materials destined for workshops and markets across the Indian Ocean. Metal artifacts included a spearhead, bowls, handles, and circular fittings. Chemical analysis shows they weren't made from ceruvilla copper in the east, but they closely resemble artifacts found at Tissamaharama, the inland capital near Godawaya. This suggests that the ship's cargo was linked not only to long-distance trade, but also to regional production networks within Sri Lanka. A collection of 57 semi-precious stone beads, carnelian, garnet, and agate, crafted in elegant spherical and disc shapes. Perforated with diamond-tipped drills, they show remarkable technological skill. Since carnelian does not occur naturally in Sri Lanka, these beads point to long-distance trade, most likely with India's Deccan region and Southeast Asia. Found unused at the time of the sinking, they were not ornaments but luxury cargo, destined for exchange. Similar beads appear at sites like Ibankatua, Anuradhapura, and Mantai, tying Godawaya into the wider web of Indian Ocean commerce. Every artifact is a fragment of a journey, a voyage that ended in tragedy but left behind a priceless archive of history. By the 2nd century BCE, the Indian Ocean was a global highway. Spices, beads, metals, glass, silk, all moved along these routes. Sri Lanka's position, midway between East and West, made it a vital hub of exchange. The Godawaya shipwreck is the earliest surviving evidence of this world in motion, showing how deeply Sri Lanka was connected to global trade long before the modern age. Godawaya remained important for centuries. Until the 6th century CE, it was a transit port where ships swapped cargo, Western vessels trading with ships from China. By the 11th century, it served as the seaport for the southern capital of Maha-Nagakula, continuing its legacy as a maritime hub. Today, Godawaya is a quiet fishing hamlet and a wildlife sanctuary, home to Sri Lanka's most important nesting beach for leatherback turtles. During the 2004 tsunami, villagers sheltered in the temple on the rock. While thousands perished along the coast, Godawaya was spared, its temple once again a place of refuge. Today, the Godawaya shipwreck is being carefully studied by the Maritime Archaeology Unit of the Central Cultural Fund, with support from the U.S. Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation, a global partnership to protect this shared heritage. In time, the artifacts will find their home at the Maritime Archaeology Museum in Galle, where the story of Godawaya will be shared with the world. The story of Godawaya begins with a prehistoric settlement, grew into a bustling Silk Road port, and now rests beneath the sea in the wreck of a 2,200-year-old ship. From Roman glass to carnelian and garnet beads, from Brahmi inscriptions to Buddhist monasteries, every layer of Godawaya shows Sri Lanka's place at the heart of the Indian Ocean. Thanks for watching. This is Hela Nomad in search of Helis.